Hello again.
Are you going to start dancing, or?
We don't know. You know these guys? Are these two
Yeah, I
guys too
met
young?
him this morning.
That's right. You know Jeff Quam? And this is...
You look familiar.
You gotta pull your... There you go. You know that name.
Ollie,
Yeah!
Ollie, go get us some orange pop.
Oh, God.
George, Joe Murphy?
Yeah.
Joe?
Did you kind of work with him and for him?
You work for Joe?
We came and
I
would
worked for
visit.
Joe for
And
5 years
Joe
until he had a stroke.
would send Wally, go get us some orange pop and Peck's here. And so he'd bring back pop for Byron and I and Dad. And Joe would sit down and he'd have he got this little bottle out of the desk, you know, he'd pour himself a little drink in his pop. And Byron said, Joe, what's that? And oh, that's cough medicine. Well, Joe, how come you keep it in a whiskey bottle?
So was this before he had his stroke? Yeah.
I started working for Joe when I was 12 years old, cleaning up the floor and work, you know. That's how I learned to work on small engines.
Oh yeah.
I paid my way through school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and seeing Joe, when we moved into town in '63.
He was your uncle.
He was my uncle. Yeah.
Right.
Uncle Joe. And then we moved into town. We lived in a trailer house next to the house I grew up in, right where DJ Blakeway lives now, right at the corner. And then we lived in the trailer house, and then when my grandmother passed away, we moved into the house, and Joe moved into the trailer house. So Joe lived in the yard with us. And Joe had an old riding lawnmower.
Yeah, and he rigged it up.
And he rigged it up, and he had it, and he went back, and he had his canes, he had his holster for his canes, and he had bottles of dishwashing liquid with ammonia water in for the dogs. That's right.
That's right.
He had a stroke when I was about, I'm going to say 15, somewhere in there.
Yep, it was somewhere. And I
It was okay. He smoked a little.
yeah, he smoked, he'd rolling cigarettes, and you know,
Then he got into ham radio at that time.
yep, and he had ham radios, and then he lived right over by the community building by Colleen. You know, where Colleen, yep. He had a trailer right next to her place. But it was
Now, did you know your other uncle?
Clark, the one that has the same shaped head as me, but Gene Clark, and Clark has and I always looked at Clark's head. He had a bald head, and he had this laugh was like that.
When I was little.
What? No, this one, that would have been, it was Clark, Gene, Dad, Joe.
Not Ted.
Not Ted. It was, oh my gosh, now I've lost it. Because I never met him. I was born in 58. So, but it was, because both Clark and Gene were in World War II. And it was,
My dad was a little younger than that.
my dad was younger, and my dad, you know, he'd been farming, because basically what happened to them is they blew up in Hillsboro, North Dakota, and their dad was a partnership in a plumbing business in Hillsboro, and the other guy drank away the business, and they lost everything during the Depression, and they ended up moving around and like sharecropping and farming for people in Waban, and then ended up north of Holly by Listening. Well, and that's where my mom grew up, right by Listening, so that's how my mom and dad met. Because she was Luckason, you know, Norwegian Lutheran, and my dad Irish Catholic Murphy. So that's
Now, your aunt was
my aunt Marion.
Right?
And there was actually two aunts, and the other met this guy named Ralph Cloutier, who he had started out as a janitor for what became Twin City Federal and became like the CEO of Twin City Federal. And son was Brian, who he'd probably be, or not, their son was Brian, who was, he took off like right after, so Colleen was their daughter, and Brian was their older son. Yeah. And he looks just like Jack Faber. I mean, just like Claire Faber.
Joe, yeah, Joe, when I was working for Joe, we converted an old school bus to a camper, and every Friday we'd take off up to McCraney Lake.
And go fishing?
McCraney was his favorite. Petunia.
Yeah, Petunia.
That was the name of it.
Petunia.
We went fishing with Joe.
Yeah.
Did you go see Jim Sticks?
What?
Jim Stick.
Jim Stick?
Jim one of his friends up there.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that name.
Have you talked to Don? You talked to him this morning, Don. My brother Don.
Yeah, I know the name, but now I'm trying
He
to
graduated in 62. See, there's 13. We went through this. There's 13 years between us, and there, you know, we had a wide gap. And
Daddy knows. Daddy knows.
yeah,
You about, how old are you? So your daddy's age, approximately, right now. Yeah, I remember that down working there, trying to picture it.
And then Beanie Womley.
Beanie Womley was in his class, 62,
Yeah.
and it was Donnie Peterson. Donnie Peterson, who's passed away, and Jim Peterson.
Yeah, Jim.
Yep, Big Jim.
He's lost a bunch of weight now.
Oh gosh, I haven't seen him for years. And then they hung. It was and Jerry Kaysen. Jerry Kaysen was the other. You know, with the and they would just, you know, I was like their mascot, and they just tortured me. You know, it's just they'd think killing each other and think that, you know, I was dead, and then the other was the younger was
Younger.
well, yeah, I was 13 years younger than Don, and the other that hung out with them was Tom McDougal from class early. He's a class later than that. And that was, you know, that, and then David Mack. David Mack, yep. And the Mocks.
Jim Mock.
Yep, Jim Mock. And well, I remember going out on a date with my brother and Barb Anderson.
Oh, really?
Barb Solon.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he'd bring my brother bring me along as a little mascot, you know.
Barb just lost her second husband.
Oh gosh.
Don't say that too loud. There's Bernie.
2 weeks ago. Didn't this theater seem a lot bigger?
Oh.
I thought so too, but I kind of don't think so.
No. Yeah, I guess
They may
that's.
have changed the opening.